Hello students, welcome to our physics class. In the previous two classes, we have studied about Oersted experiment. How does a magnetic field produces around a straight current carrying wire, Ampere's swimming rule, and some very important properties of magnetic field lines, and how do you find out the direction of magnetic field around a straight current carrying wire by using right hand thumb rule, and force acting on a charged particle in the presence of magnetic field, that is F is equal to QVB sine theta, and the nature of trajectory of charged particle in the presence of uniform magnetic field. If a charged particle moving parallel to the direction of magnetic field, it doesn't experience any force. Nature of trajectory of charged particle is straight line. If a charged particle moving anti-parallel to the direction of magnetic field, again it doesn't experience any force. Nature of trajectory of charged particle is straight line. If a charged particle enters the perpendicular uniform magnetic field, the charged particle describes the circular path. If a charged particle enters magnetic field in any direction, then the charged particle describes the spiral path. So this is moving charges and magnetism part 3. So in this part, we are going to discuss about the next very important concept, that is cyclotron. Okay, well, let's start today's class. Cyclotron is a particle accelerator. Cyclotron is a particle accelerator. It is a device used to accelerate positively charged particles like proton, that means 1h1, deuteron, that means 1h2, and also particle, that is 2he4, to a very high energy. So that is the meaning of cyclotron. Cyclotron is a particle accelerator. It is a device used to accelerate the positively charged particles like proton, deuteron, also particle to very high energy. Actually, cyclotron uses the concept of electric field and the magnetic field, crossed electric field and magnetic field. That means electric field and magnetic field which are mutually perpendicular to each other. So what is the function of electric field and what is the function of magnetic field in cyclotron? That is very important. If a charged particle enters the electric field, what happens? It will experience a force. It means F vector is equal to Q E vector. This is the force experienced by charged particle in the presence of electric field. And the charged particle will get accelerated. So according to Newton's second law of motion, F vector, so that can also be written in the form of m into a vector. Now comparing these two equations, so m a vector, that is equal to q e vector. So a vector is equal to q e vector divided by m. So this is the acceleration of the charged particle if it enters the electric field. What is the function of electric field? The electric field actually accelerates the charged particle, and if the charged particle enters the perpendicular magnetic field, what happens? So perpendicular magnetic field describes, perpendicular magnetic field throws the charged particle into the circular motion. Okay, so if a charged particle enters the perpendicular magnetic field, the charged particle describes the circular path. So charged particle moving in circular path. Perpendicular magnetic field throws the charged particle into the circular motion, and the frequency of the charged particle does not depend on the speed of the charged particle and the radius of circular orbit. So this is the principle of the cyclotron. Cyclotron uses the concept of crossed electric field and magnetic field. That means electric field and magnetic field which are mutually perpendicular to each other. So electric field accelerates the charged particle. Perpendicular magnetic field throws the charged particle into circular motion. And the frequency of the charged particle does not depend on the speed of the charged particle and the radius of the circular orbit. So this is the principle of cyclotron. Okay, well, so now let us discuss about the construction of cyclotron. So this is a schematic diagram of the cyclotron. This is a cross-sectional view of the cyclotron. So cyclotron consisting of two small hollow metallic of cylinders. Cyclotron consisting of two small hollow metallic of cylinders D1 and D2 are called Ds. Why? Because of their shape. They are in the form of D letter. So that is why D1 and D2 are called D1 and D2 are called Ds. So this is the first step in the construction. What is that? Cyclotron consisting of two small hollow, two small hollow, small hollow, hollow metallic of cylinders, metallic of cylinders, metallic of cylinders are called Ds. Why? Because of their shape. And the Ds are mounted inside vacuum chamber. These are mounted inside vacuum chamber between the poles of a very strong, powerful electromagnets. So this is actually north pole of electromagnet, and this is the south pole of electromagnet, which generates the magnetic field lines. Look at this animation. So this is the north pole of electromagnet. This is the south pole of electromagnet, which generates the magnetic field lines from north pole to south pole, from bottom to top. Okay. So these are two Ds, D1 and D2. Okay. Cyclotron consisting of two small hollow. These are two small hollow metallic of cylinders. So these are called Ds. Why? Because of their shape. So the Ds are mounted between two strong, powerful electromagnets, which generates the magnetic field lines from north pole to south pole, so that the magnetic field lines are perpendicular to the plane of the Ds, right? The magnetic field lines are perpendicular to the plane of the two Ds. So this is the cross-sectional view of the Ds. Actually here dot mark shows the magnetic field lines are directed normally outwards. Dot mark shows the perpendicular uniform magnetic field. So the direction of magnetic field line is directed outwards, normally outwards. Okay. So after that, the Ds are connected to a high frequency alternating voltage. These are connected to a source of high frequency. These are connected to the source of high frequency alternating voltage, which changes the polarity of these. Polarity means positive and negative. So, which changes the polarity of these so for every of cycle, that means of rotation. Okay, so here the frequency of rotation of charged particle, that should be equal to the frequency of applied AC voltage. Actually, that is the resonance condition. The frequency of a charged particle, that should be equal to the frequency of the applied AC voltage. Okay, so these are connected to the source of high frequency alternating voltage, so which changes the polarity of these for every of cycle. Okay, so this is a positively charged particle. P is a positively charged particle that is to be injected into the beads near their center. So this is proton. Proton is a positively charged particle is injected into the beads near their center in a plane perpendicular to the uniform magnetic field. So this is actually the fourth step in the construction. The charged particle is pulled out of the base. The charged particle that is pulled out of the base by a deflecting plate through a window, and the whole device is in high vacuum. The pressure is about 10 power minus 6 millimeter of mercury. The whole device is kept in highly evacuated chamber. The whole device is in high vacuum so that the air molecules may not collide. So that the air molecules may not collide with the charged particle. So this is about some very important steps in construction. So what is the first step in the construction? It consisting of two small hollow metallic off cylinders are called teeth. Why? Because of their shape. So these are mounted inside a vacuum chamber between the poles of strong, powerful electromagnets, which generates the magnetic field lines from north pole to south pole, from bottom to top, so that the magnetic field lines are perpendicular. Magnetic field lines are perpendicular to the plane of the beam. So, and then the Ds are connected to a source of high frequency alternating voltage. So what is the function of high frequency alternating voltage? Which changes the polarity of Ds for every off cycle. Actually here, the frequency of rotation of the positively charged particle, that should be equal to the frequency of applied AC voltage. So that is actually called the resonance condition. That is very important. And then a positively charged particle like proton is injected, that is to be accelerated, is injected into the disc near their center in a plane that is perpendicular to uniform magnetic field. A positively charged particle that is to be accelerated, that is injected near their center, injected into the disc in their center in a plane perpendicular to the uniform magnetic field. So the charged particle that is pulled out of the disc by a deflecting plate through a window. So the whole device is in high vacuum so that the air molecules may not collide with the charged particle. So these are the five very important steps involved in the construction of cyclotron. So this is very important for 5 mark. What is the first step? It consisting of two small hollow metallic off cylinders D1 and D2 are called Ds because of their shape. They are mounted inside a vacuum chamber between the poles of strong, powerful electromagnets which generate the magnetic field lines from bottom to top so that the magnetic field lines are perpendicular to the plane of the Ds. The Ds are connected to the source of high frequency alternating voltage which changes the polarity of Ds for every off cycle. The beam of charged particle that is to be accelerated. So that is injected exactly at the center in a plane perpendicular to a uniform magnetic field. So the whole device is in high vacuum so that the air molecules may not collide with the charged particle. So the charged particle uh, is pulled out of the Ds by a deflecting plate through a window. Okay. Okay. So next, let us discuss about the working of cyclotron. At certain instant of time, so D1 is positively charged and D2 is negatively charged. At certain instant of time, so 1D, so for example, this is D1, D1 is positively charged, D2 is negatively charged. So a positively charged particle, that is proton, that is to be accelerated, is injected into the Ds near their center in a plane that is perpendicular to the uniform magnetic field. So positively charged particle, that is proton 1h1, that is injected exactly at the center of 2D. So proton is positively charged particle. So proton is accelerated towards the negatively charged D. So actually here blue color indicates the negative charge, red color indicates the positive charge. So this is the charged particle, proton. So if it is injected exactly at the center of 2D, what happens? The positively charged particle proton is accelerated towards the D1. Why? That is because of the electrostatic force of attraction. So this is D1, this one is D2. So at certain instant of time, D1 is negatively charged, so D2 is positively charged. So if the proton is injected exactly at the center of 2D, so the proton is accelerated towards the negatively charged D1. That is because of electrostatic force of attraction between the positively charged proton and a negatively charged D1. So after that, the positively charged proton that is enters D1. So if the positively charged proton enters D1, inside the D1, there is no electric field. Inside the D1, there is no electric field. So it is acted upon by only the perpendicular magnetic field. Is it not? Inside the hollow metallic off cylinder, there is no electric field. So once the charged particle enters D, inside the D, there is no electric field. The charged particle is acted upon by only the perpendicular magnetic field. So what is the function of perpendicular magnetic field? So the perpendicular magnetic field actually throws the charged particle into circular path. Perpendicular magnetic field only changes the direction of the charged particle. It does not change the speed of the charged particle. Okay. So, and the perpendicular magnetic field bringing the charged particle that is back into the electric field. So actually here a uniform electric field that is exists between the two Ds. Okay. So once the charged particle enters the gap, so immediately the polarity of Ds that is reversed. So look at this animation. The charged particle enters. What happens? The polarity reverses. Charged particle enters. The polarity reverses. Now D2 becomes negatively charged. D1 becomes positively charged. Charged particle enters the gap. So D2 becomes negatively charged. D1 becomes positively charged. So again, due to the presence of electric field, charged particle is again get accelerated. Due to the presence of electric field, charged particle is again get accelerated. That means the speed, velocity of charged particle that is increases. Suppose in the first circular path, semicircular path, its velocity is v. Once if it enters the gap, its velocity becomes 2v. Okay. So again, due to electrostatic force of attraction, positively charged particle is moving towards the negatively charged d2. Why? The positively charged particle is moving towards d2. That is because of electrostatic force of attraction. Okay. So again, the charged particle enters the d2. Inside the d2, there is no electric field, so it is acted upon by only the perpendicular magnetic field. Okay, so perpendicular magnetic field throws the charged particle into circular motion. So, but of greater radius, that is because of the increased speed across the gap. So this process actually repeats. Okay, so once the particle enters the gap, what happens? The polarity reverses. Okay, so again, the positively charged particle is attracted towards the negatively charged d1. So and then the charged particle enters d1. Inside the d1, there is no electric field that is acted upon by only the perpendicular magnetic field, which throws the charged particle into circular motion, but of greater radius. That is because of increased speed across the gap. Okay, so this process repeats. This process repeats. So finally, the charged particle reaches the periphery of the D. Finally, the charged particle reaches the periphery of the D, and it will pull it out of the D's by a deflecting plate through a window. Finally, this high energy charged particle hits the target like nucleus of atom. So actually this is the positively charged particle. What is this? Proton. So at certain instant of time, so D1 is uh, negatively charged, D2 is positively charged. Okay, at certain instant of time, D1 is positively charged, D2 is negatively charged. So the positively charged particle, proton, okay, that is attracted towards the negatively charged D2. Okay, for example, here the speed of the charged particle is v. Consider here the speed of the charged particle is v. So once the proton enters the D2, inside there is no electric field. So the charged particle is acted upon by only the perpendicular magnetic field, so which throws the charged particle into the semicircular path. Okay, perpendicular magnetic field throws the charged particle into semicircular path and bringing the charged particle back into the electric field. It does not change the speed. Perpendicular magnetic field does not change the speed of the charged particle. It will changes only the direction of charged particle. So once the charged particle enters the gap, what happens? The polarity reverses. So D1 becomes, the charged particle enters this gap. So now the polarity reverses. Now D1 becomes negatively charged, D2 becomes positively charged. Okay, so if the charged particle enters the gap, what happens? D1 becomes negatively charged, D2 becomes positively charged. So again, charged particle get accelerated. That is because of electric field. Electric field accelerates the charged particle. So in this gap, the speed of the charged particle becomes 2v. Okay, and again the charged particle enters D1. So inside the D1, there is no electric field. So the charged particle is acted upon by only the perpendicular magnetic field. So the perpendicular magnetic field throws the charged particle into again semicircular path, but of greater radius. But of greater radius. Why? That is because of increased speed. Where? Across the gap. Okay. And again here, charged particle enters the gap. What happens? Now the polarity reverses. Again the polarity reverses. So if the charged particle enters here, enters the gap, now D1 becomes positively charged, D2 becomes negatively charged. So again, the proton is attracted towards the negatively charged D2. That is because of electrostatic force of attraction. So again, the charged particle that is get accelerated. That is because of the presence of electric field. So in this gap, the speed of the charged particle becomes 3v. Okay. So and after that, charged particle enters D2 inside the D2. So there is no electric field. The charged particle is acted upon by only the perpendicular magnetic field. The perpendicular magnetic field throws the charged particle into semicircular path, but of greater radius. That is because of the increased speed across the gap. So this process repeats. This process repeats, and finally the charged particle reaches the periphery. That means almost the edge of the 2D. Okay, finally the charged particle reaches the periphery of the disc, and it will pull it out of the disc by a deflecting plate through a window. This is about the construction and working of cyclotron. This is very, very important. So after that, let us discuss about the theory of the cyclotron. So if a charged particle moving in circular path. Charge particle is moving in circular path means it requires centripetal force. Is it not? So that is actually provided by the Lorentz magnetic force. So this is about the theory of cyclotron. So if a charged particle is moving in a circular path means it requires centripetal force that is provided by the Lorentz magnetic force. Centripetal force is mv square divided by r. The Lorentz magnetic force that is qvb sine theta. Theta is the angle between v vector and b vector. Actually, here the angle between v vector and b vector is 90 degree. Sine 90 is 1, right? So v get cancels. R is equal to mv divided by q. So this is the radius of the circular orbit. So what is the time period of charged particle? Time period is p is equal to actually p is equal to 2 pi r divided by v. P is equal to 2 pi r divided by v. For one complete rotation, v is equal to distance traveled divided by time taken. For one complete rotation, the distance traveled by the charged particle, that is 2 pi r, time taken is capital T, that is time period, right? So R by V is m divided by qb. So P is equal to 2 pi divided by V into R is mv divided by qb. So V get cancels. The time period of charged particle is 2 pi m divided by qb. Okay, and the frequency, this is cyclotron frequency, that is equal to qb divided by 2 pi m. So this is the cyclotron frequency, and this should be equal to the applied frequency of AC voltage. So the cyclotron frequency that should be equal to the applied frequency of RF oscillator. So this is actually the resonance condition. This is the resonance condition. Okay. So actually the proton enters a gap at regular intervals of time t by 2. So this will happen only if the frequency of rotation of p, that is exactly equal to the frequency of RF oscillator. P enters the gap. The regular intervals of time t by 2, is it not? P enters the gap at the regular intervals of time t by 2. So this will happen only if the cyclotron frequency should be equal to the applied frequency of RF oscillator. So what is the angular frequency? Angular frequency is 2 pi fc, right? So 2 pi fc is qb divided by m. So if p reaches near periphery near periphery of the D, then the radius of circular orbit, that is approximately equal to the radius of the D, So then the speed of the charged particle is maximum, that is V is equal to R omega. V is equal to R omega. So this is the maximum speed of charged particle. Okay, so R omega is QB divided by M. So this is angular frequency, right? So what is the maximum energy that is acquired by the charged particle? Maximum kinetic energy acquired by the charged particle. That is very important. So the kinetic energy mathematical expression, kinetic energy is of mv square, right? Here we have to find out the maximum kinetic energy that is considered, that is kmax. This is the maximum kinetic energy acquired by the charged particle. Okay, so of m, this is the maximum speed, right? So of m, the maximum speed of the charged particle is qbr divided by m. So maximum speed square, that is q square b square r square divided by m square. So 1m get cancelled. So finally we will get the maximum kinetic energy acquired by the charged particle, q square b square r square divided by 2m. So this is the mathematical expression for maximum kinetic energy acquired by charged particle. Okay. So, and finally, let us discuss about the limitations of cyclotron, advantages and limitations. There are two very important limitations of there. Number one is cyclotron cannot be accelerate electrons. Electrons cannot be accelerated in a cyclotron because electron is a very light particle. Its mass is very small, that is 9.1 in 10 power minus 31 kg. So if it is accelerated directly, electron hits to the periphery. So that is why electrons cannot be accelerated in a cyclotron. And neutrons being electrically neutral, neutrons cannot be accelerated in a cyclotron because neutron doesn't have any charge. Neutron is electrically neutral particle. So neutron cannot be accelerated in a cyclotron. Electron cannot be accelerated in a cyclotron. Those are the two limitations of cyclotron. Number one, electron cannot be accelerated in a cyclotron. Number two, neutron cannot be accelerated in a cyclotron. And what are the uses of cyclotron? So that is also very important. So advantages, uses, the merits of cyclotron. The first one is it can accelerate. Cyclotron can accelerate positively charged particles like proton, deuteron, alpha particles to very high energy, right? So the first advantage of cyclotron is cyclotron can accelerate positively charged particles like proton, deuteron, alpha particle to a very high energy. So the second very important use, it requires comparatively small voltage for producing high energy charge particles. So it requires comparatively low voltage for producing high energy charged particles. This is second advantage. And it occupies small space. It occupies comparatively small space, small space. Hence it is compact. Hence it is compact. And it is used to investigate. It is used to investigate nuclear structure. It is used to investigate nuclear structure. It is used to investigate nuclear structure. And it is used to produce artificial radioactive substances. It is used to produce artificial radioactive substances which can be used in medical diagnosis. So these are some very important uses of cyclotron. What are the limitations? Electrons cannot be accelerated in a cyclotron. Neutrons, being electrically neutral, cannot be accelerated in a cyclotron. And what are the uses? It can accelerate proton, deuteron, alpha particle to very high energies. It requires comparatively very small voltage for producing high energy charged particles, and it occupies small space. It occupies comparatively small space, hence it is compact. It is used to investigate a nuclear structure, and it is used to produce artificial radioactive substances which can be used in medical diagnosis. So this is about the meaning, construction, working of cyclotron, limitations and drawbacks. Limitations, drawbacks, and uses of cyclotron. So finally, let us discuss about what is the principle of cyclotron. Cyclotron actually uses the concept of electric field and magnetic field. So electric field accelerates the charged particle. The perpendicular magnetic field throws the charged particle into the circular motion. Right? So a charged particle can be accelerated to very high energies by making it pass through a moderate electric field number of times. Is it not? That can be done with the help of a perpendicular magnetic field, which throws the charged particle into circular motion. So the frequency of the charged particle does not depend on the speed of the charged particle and the radius of the circular orbit. So this is the principle of cyclotron. Charged particle can be accelerated to very high energies by making it pass through a moderate electric field number of times. That can be done with the help of a perpendicular magnetic field which throws the charged particle into circular motion, and the frequency of the charged particle does not depend on the speed of the charged particle and the radius of circular orbit.